Welcome back to the Professional Hate Watching Association. It's episode 10, and they're telling me Scotty Barnes has finally taken the leap. That's what I've been told by valuable sources. I'm not going to name them for sake of anonymity, in case they're wrong. But I'm here with Daniel. I'm Ethan, as always. We'll talk about the Raptors in a little bit because they did just beat the Bucks.
More Raptors dialogue.
I asked for it in the comments every time. I'm going to just do it myself. We'll get to that later, though, because we have a lot more to talk about, whether it's about specific players, winning streaks. We got a lot for episode 10. We are now really into the thick of the NBA season. We now have over 2 weeks of games under our belts. A lot to talk about, a lot to lie about, and a lot to hate about. So I guess no better way to start than with one of the most polarizing NBA players in Ja Morant. Ja Morant was recently suspended for what the Grizzlies call conduct detrimental to the team. Now, everybody's wondering, well, what does that mean? What does conduct detrimental to the team look like? Because it varies. It's a spectrum. He did not play well in, I believe, it was a loss to the Lakers, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And
a loss, I think they blew a big lead in that game.
They just bad loss. Mind you, they're 3-6 on the season now. And this was in the midst of this losing streak. I believe they've lost 4 or 5 in a row at this point.
Yeah.
And so Twomasi Salo, the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, allegedly, according to Shams, he was very critical of Morant, both in the game and after the game in the locker room. And so when Morant was questioned about this by the media, about his poor performance, he said, what did he say?
He said, go ask the coaching staff.
Multiple times. They were not fans. And so he was suspended for a game, which they lost. And so he's been back since and had a solid 18-10 in in his first game back. But the Grizzlies are sitting at 3-6, and Morant across the board just is at career lows. He's even playing career low minutes. It's 30 minutes a game. Shooting less than 40 from the field, 14% from three. It's just he's throwing rocks up there. And so it's not looking good. But I want to ask you, I guess we'll open with this. I want to ask you what your thoughts are on this whole unfolding situation.
Yeah, so this Grizzlies situation is so strange because I think you and I remember last year how shocked we were and how shocked everybody else was when they fired Taylor Jenkins in the middle of the season, because this is a guy that really helped orchestrate their rebuild. Like, they got Ja Morant in there, they got Jaren Jackson Jr. playing at a Defensive Player of the Year level. They're like, when they were healthy, they were like a top 3 seed every year in the Western Conference. They had a few seasons here and there where they dealt with some injuries and they weren't able to figure things out. But yeah, they fired Taylor Jenkins last year. They bring in the new coach. And I think this is a situation where I think the bridge is just burned between Morant and the Grizzlies, because they've had a very, very nightmarish season so far. They started 3-2 and now they're 3-6. So they've lost 4 in a row. And those losses include a big lead blown against the Lakers. And I'm pretty sure that was during the stretch where Luka was out. So they lost to a team that didn't have Luka, didn't have LeBron. They lost to the Miami Heat, albeit who are pretty good to start out the season so far. But
how much did they pay you to say that?
Not enough. Like, letting the Heat score 146 points on you in 2025, the big 2025, that should, like, there should be a punishment associated with that, because there's no way that Miami without Tyler Hero should be scoring that many points on you. I know Norman Powell is a quality player, almost was an all-star last year. I just think that something's not right between Morant and the Grizzlies. And to top it all off, I don't know if you saw whenever they played the Rockets, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, there was a video of KD talking trash to Ja Morant's dad, T. He literally told him, your son doesn't even want to be here anymore. Enjoy your last few days. And we know how KD is with the trash talk. He's ruthless, but like, it's just one thing after another. And I think that easier said than done. They have to find a way to trade him. I just think that's what the situation is.
Where does he go then? Where would you ideally like to see Ja Morant go?
That's the thing. And I saw something came out yesterday that the Timberwolves are monitoring the situation. So if he ends up in a situation like Minnesota, I'm not sure if that would be the greatest fit, because I think well, I know, and everybody else knows that's Anthony Edwards' team. I don't know how comfortable Ja Morant would be being the number 2 on a team like that, or on a team where a guy that's at least like comparable to him when he's healthy. Like when both of them are healthy, there was a time when people would argue like who's better, Anthony Edwards or Ja Morant. And
What a time that was.
yeah, the 2022, like the Grizzlies from 2021 to like March, like April 2023. Like what a time it was to be a Grizzlies fan during that era. Like your 1.5 year championship window, when the Grizzlies were healthy. But time flies, and now the Grizzlies look like garbage. So yeah, I don't know. It's also hard because his contract, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's not great. He's injury prone. You read off the numbers. He's shooting the ball terribly, and shooting has never really been a strength of his. And you also have to deal with his baggage off the court. He has a bad off the court reputation, and that's going to follow him for the rest of his career pretty much. So I honestly don't know, but staying in Memphis, it looks like he doesn't really want to resolve the situation. So it's hard to kind of say which team should try and pursue him.
So Morant is currently in year 3 of a 5-year, $197.2 million contract.
Okay.
So you're paying that's a lump sum of money, even though you'd only be paying about 2 years of it, 2.5 years of it.
Yeah.
That's still, I also think about the capital that the Grizzlies would want. Because if you trade Ja Morant, I assume you trade Jaren Jackson also.
Yeah.
Because that man would be in basketball purgatory. That's a worse situation than the Pelicans at that point. And so you might want to do right by Triple J and trade him, but you also just might want to trade him because you can get more capital. I just think about, this isn't specific to Ja Morant, but it always just seems like when a star is disgruntled in basketball, other sports too, but especially in basketball, during the season, teams seem to ask for too much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out that way. They kind of, it's a good strategy. You ask for too much and then you settle somewhere a little below that.
Yeah.
But you just wonder, because you mentioned the reputation that Ja Morant has, responsible firearms user and all.
Mm-hmm.
We can go back and forth about whether he deserves that title or not. But the fact of the matter is that he's viewed a certain way by these NBA teams. And so you just wonder what the asking for the trade would be and how much they're willing to bet. I bet Pat Riley would only give him 3 bags of chips and like a Togo's voucher.
Whoever the 11th man on their bench is, that would be
11th man and a Jersey Mike's voucher. That's what it is.
That would be the Heat's best offer. But I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now. I don't know. Like a team, I think he would probably fit best on a team that is like maybe not a championship contender. Like Ja Morant would go on that team and then they'd be like a piece away from contending. That's the kind of situation I'm thinking. So like a young team that's like ready to make a playoff push, like ready to like, I don't know, try to learn how to win games. A team
that's Charlotte Hornets.
No, not the Charlotte Hornets. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Off the top of my head, I was thinking like something that could be cool, like the Wizards, maybe. I don't know, because they're not completely terrible. They've been competitive this year, and Alex Sarr looks like he is actually going to be pretty good. He's been playing pretty good this year. He's putting up like 19 and 8 pretty much, and almost 4 assists. So, I mean, that could be like a cool situation, something like that. Or
they are 1-7.
They're 1-7. Never mind. I didn't say that. You didn't hear that from me. I don't know who did they beat? Who's their one win against?
I have no idea, but their most recent loss was 19 points to the Celtics.
All right, never mind. The Wizards are garbage.
But that could inject a Ja Morant. Ja Morant is a player where when he's healthy, and I think a lot of people forgot this because of his suspensions, but also his injuries. He's a very electric player. He is, dare I say, a heavy hitter when it comes to NBA fandom when he's healthy. Yeah. He's a highlight reel. That could inject new life into interest in the Wizards. But then again, I think any player could really do that.
Yeah.
Any like top 40 player could do that really. But
or how about this? The Bulls are sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference right now.
Which what are we doing?
6-1. What if Ja Morant to Chicago?
Who do they give up though? Because if you're the Bulls, and we could tangent this too. Your roster is one of the rosters in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. So are you banking on that this is legit and you can actually compete in the playoffs with this? Or are you going to risk messing with it for lack of better phrasing, a polarizing player, one of the most polarizing players in basketball?
Yeah.
And the ceiling's high, but I imagine the floor is lower with adding Ja Morant to this team. God, and you don't even know what they would have to give up for it. I imagine Kobe White's part of that deal.
I was going to say, yeah. Would you give up Kobe White in that deal? I think
I don't know if I would.
I would assume it was probably a guy they'd have to trade. I don't know if I would give up Buzelis for him because I think he's going to be really good. Modest Buzelis.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Bulls, after being in literally middle of nowhere in no man's land for like 3 years for 3 years, they finally feel like they have a little more of a sense of a direction, and it's not like an artificial. We brought in all these, these great players in their 30s. Like we have an actual team that we're putting together here. I wouldn't mess with that, to be honest with you.
True, and I know he's not the most popular guy right now, but Josh Giddey's really good, dude. I don't know if you've been watching the Bulls this year, but he's basically averaging a triple-double, 23, 10, and 9 assists. So I don't know. I guess the Bulls might be legit. I literally don't know who would trade for him. I'm just trying to brainstorm off the top of my head.
I mean, the Heat are
maybe the Suns. The Suns. I don't know what draft capital they have, but
the Suns have nothing. The Suns have well, I think they got some capital back with the KD trade, but I think that they want to. I don't see John. Here's the thing: Ja Morant is, as a basketball player, we're not even talking about his off the court antics. Just him as a player, his skill set is kind of a lost art.
Yeah,
he's not a player that you can plug and play really in a lot of modern NBA offenses. That's not a knock because he gets his points, he gets his statistics. He's a great player when he's healthy. The problem is with that is what teams are going to see him on the trading block and immediately go, that's a guy I need on my roster, and he's a net plus immediately. Because if you look at because we said it already, even at his best, his shooting is solid.
Yeah.
And he's far from his best right now.
Right.
So what teams bring in a player, can afford to bring in a player at the expense of either young players or draft capital that has an injury history, off the court issues, and can't shoot the three? I understand. Eventually, they will trade him.
Send him to Brooklyn.
No. Eventually, if they want to trade him, they will. There will be a team that will want to pick him up, and it will be, for the culture. Because, let's say the Wizards, for example. They're going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
And so they might want a player like Ja Morant of that caliber to kind of just inject new life into their franchise. Ja Morant puts people in the seats. So a team like the Wizards could use that. But in terms of, I agree with you when you say he can't go to a championship contender because he can't really plug in well.
Yeah.
Based on, you said it, and my points just prove that. He would need to go to a team that's not right there. But even then, there's certain teams like the Bulls, for example, that kind of have a good thing going. And I really think that if I was running the Bulls office, which, contrary to popular belief, I'm not.
Yeah.
I would not mess with that. I think their team, this current iteration of the Bulls is worth kind of riding out and seeing how that works. They already have a veteran leader in Vucevic.
Yeah.
You don't need another one. Well, you can never have too many, but you don't necessarily look to Ja Morant for premier leadership. No disrespect, of course.
Bulls fans have been clamoring for their team to blow this whole thing up, trade Vucevic and rebuild for the last, I think, 4 years now. Ever since that DeRozan, Levine, Lonzo Ball team fell apart, they've been kind of asking the Bulls to blow it up. And it would be really funny if the Bulls not doing that actually ends up working out for them, and Chicago's actually really good this year and makes a decent run at wins a couple games in the playoffs or something like that. I think that'd be very funny.
If it was ever going to be a year to do it, it'd be this year. We talk every week about how open the Eastern Conference is.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. The Grizzlies got to figure, because Ja Morant's not putting people in the seats right now in Memphis. You see those ticket prices? $2. They're cheaper than Angels tickets. And I know we love the Angels around here in the Misfits. I know we love the Angels, but It's just the reality of the situation.
LA's real baseball team.
Yeah.
We don't factor in recent championships of any sort. We talk about the culture around here. I do want to point out, because you talked about the Grizzlies 19-month championship window that they had.
Yeah.
And it was essentially ended by the Lakers. You remember that 2-7 upset.
I do.
LeBron's 40 game, which was 20-20, which
yeah.
is hilarious to me. Dylan Brooks beef aside, because LeBron had never had 20 rebounds in a game ever, which I did not know up to that point, but it made sense. So you let a pushing 40 LeBron James grab 20 boards on you. Like it's like, that's just a locked stat where you see that on the stat sheet. You're like, yeah, no, this team did not deserve to win.
Yeah. And then LeBron's post on Instagram after this series, if you see me in a fight against a grizzly bear, help the bear. Yeah.
Back when Shannon Sharp wasn't problematic sitting courtside.
And that's when it ended. Like, that's literally when it ended.
That's it.
They lost that series. And then the next year, I think the next year was the year where they dealt with all those injuries and they were pretty bad. And then the year, so I guess what'd they do last year?
Nothing.
Nothing. They made the playoffs, but OKC
last year. Oh yeah, they did make the playoffs. That was when Ja Morant did this.
Yeah. And then, like, the Thunder beat them in the first round so badly, like, I almost sometimes forget that series even happened. Like, the closest the NBA will ever get
to a bye week.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the Lakers, though, the Lakers are doing something interesting, which is, if a lot of people will not, if you're not Lakers fans, you probably watch that opening night game against the Warriors and we're like, they are so screwed because they don't actually have a center. They have it turns out they might have less of a center than the Warriors do. And then Luka got hurt for a week. And I feel like that's kind of where casuals kind of tuned out, because they're like, who's going to lead them? Austin Reeves? Turns out that's exactly who's going to lead them, because now Luka's back. Austin Reeves, AR-15, flip it, because we got AR-51. And now the Lakers are sitting at 6-2, right near the top of the West. Are they 7-2 now? They might be 7-2 now.
They're 7-2. They've won 5 in a row.
7-2, 5 winners of 5 straight, sitting right at the top of the West, right behind OKC. And you have been a strong advocate of a certain someone who wears number 23 in the purple and gold to retire. Does this change your opinion, or matter of fact, does it cement your opinion, seeing how well the Lakers are playing without LeBron James?
Just to remind everybody of my LeBron take, I've been saying he should have retired for the longest time now. I said it last year in December. I said he should have retired.
You said it in October.
In October. I said he should have retired after he broke Kareem's scoring record. I thought it would have been a great way to go out, but he didn't do that. And now the Lakers look pretty good, and I think it's possible that with LeBron out, Austin Reeves has proven me wrong, and I think a lot of people, but mainly me, that he's capable of being a guy that can take on that extra responsibility of being a primary ball handler and scorer, because we're at a large enough sample size now. They've played, they're 7-2 through 9 games. He's averaging 30 points. So, like, Austin Reeves is a pretty good player, and Luka came back, and he still found a way to have a good game. Luka was very good. I have to give credit where it's due. DeAndre Ayton, I talk a lot of garbage about him. I call him Dominating because it's his Instagram handle, and I say it in a sarcastic way because I think it's like the exact opposite of what he does on the court. He's had like back-to-back 20 and 10 games. And look, I thought the Lakers were going to be in trouble without LeBron, like you said, after that opening night, but it looks like they're figuring out how to win without him. But in terms of him needing, yes, I still think LeBron should retire. Like, I still feel the same way. This should be his last season on the Lakers, regardless of how it goes. I still think he should retire. And I think the Lakers would feel good about that now, seeing how they've played without him, that they can move on without him when that day does come.
So I want to point out that as of today, Shams reported that Bron has been cleared for contact basketball activities.
Right.
So, I mean, it adds up. They said he was going to be out about a month. It kind of adds up with the timeline. He should be back within a week or two.
Yeah.
But so are you saying that I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Do you think LeBron sees it that way, though? Do you think he could? Because I think And I think that other NBA, maybe non-Bron fans, especially Lakers fans, see this as clear writing on the wall that LeBron's time is up. Now, they're not necessarily saying he doesn't have to retire, but he can't stay here. Classic, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think LeBron being a guy who literally called himself the greatest player of all time, which you probably shouldn't do, but he anointed himself as the GOAT after he beat the Warriors down 3-1 in the finals. So I'm sure him having the ultimate self-confidence and his ability to perform, even though he's 40 years old, I think he looks at this and says, look, if this team is playing like this without me, I feel like I can only make this team better when I come back. And I feel like at this point in his career, given all the mileage he has on his body, given all that he's done in the NBA, I feel like he should be comfortable and embrace taking a back seat to the guys who are playing really well. Like he should look at Austin Reeves averaging 30 and Luka averaging 40 and DeAndre Ayton playing good. He should look at this and be excited that he doesn't have to carry all of the load on his shoulders like he usually does. And so I'm wondering what his mentality is going to be when he gets back. Is it going to be, oh, people are saying that the Lakers are fine without me and they don't need me? Or is it going to be, I can look at this as a great opportunity to let these guys do their thing. And when I'm called upon, I can still tap into being the GOAT and taking over games at 40 years old, because I still think LeBron can still play in this league. So I think it's definitely still a possibility. So I think it just depends on what mentality he has coming back from injury, which I think should be the second one. I think he looks at this and says, this team looks pretty good and I don't have to carry all this weight. I'm not going to focus too much on all the outside noise surrounding trade rumors and retirement and all that stuff. So that's where I stand on it.
Hey, LeBron, we're good.
We're good.
Jake Laravia is here.
Exactly. DeAndre Ayton is here.
I agree. I mean, they called this man the chosen one when he was in high school. He's had this attention his whole life. He's never not been in his professional basketball career the number one player in any basketball situation.
Right.
But the times have changed. The future is now, old man. And now I fully agree that LeBron can still, on any given night, put the team on his back. My question is, it's a rhetorical question. My question is this it? Like, I think this is it with the Lakers, but is this it? I think that's what a lot of people are curious about, because here we are. We're a few weeks into the season at this point. We haven't heard anything from LeBron James. Now, need I remind you that the late Kobe Bryant around this time was when he announced that he was going to be retiring from basketball. I'm not saying that he's going to do this. LeBron's going to do the same thing. I'm just saying that it seems very unlike LeBron, given his media presence and just who he is as a basketball player, to not want a full farewell tour for, I mean, he's either the greatest basketball player ever or the second greatest basketball player ever. So
yeah,
it just would be kind of a sin for this to not be a thing for LeBron James. So the longer this goes on, I mean, I know he's not even playing right now, but the longer this goes on without any further comment or announcement, the longer I think maybe this isn't going to end.
He's got one more season left at least in the tank, you think? One more? Because I agree. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would announce his farewell tour. Let's say we're 10 games in, but mid-season for the sake of conversation. Middle of the season, farewell tour announcement. I think that announcement would come sometime during the summer, during the offseason, like maybe a few weeks before the season starts. That's what I think. Like I agree with you. Yeah.
Because I think of it like this. I'm not trying to draw parallels, but like the two greatest farewell tours of all time in basketball are Kobe Bryant and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, both of whom had these crazy media runs. I mean, comparatively, because Kareem's was in the 80s and Kobe's was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 years ago, damn, at this point. Or 10, 9 years. But each of them, whenever they went to different venues, their last road game, wherever, it was a huge celebration. The fans turned out. Kobe Bryant would go play in New Orleans, and the Smoothie King Center would be filled to the brim. Like
the Smoothie King Center.
Yeah, that's a good poll, right?
Still the funniest name.
Viewers of the Misfits, the Professional Hate Watching Association, do not ever question our ball knowledge. We love the game. We love the game, and we love this game. But Kareem did the same thing. They gave Kareem a Rolls Royce at one of his final road games. Like, look it up. That's insane.
Yeah.
Pissed off Will Chamberlain too, which is also funny. But it just, you can't have a LeBron retirement without a proper farewell tour. That's just not how this works.
Yeah.
Like, you can be a LeBron hater and you can hate the entire thing, but you can't deny that it won't feel right to not send LeBron James off with one of the most extravagant celebrations that lasts damn near a whole season. So, but then that brings up the other question that I think about, which is, I think this is it for the Lakers. I think this is it with LeBron for the Lakers. But so then, do you go somewhere else? You go back to Cleveland for a third time?
I don't think like, I know you probably say that as a joke, but I don't think the Cavs would want LeBron.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably sign as a free agent.
Like just retire as a Cav, I guess, after the. Do you think he would retire as a Cavalier? He would do that?
I don't know. He did what he told them he would do.
Yeah.
I thought if he was going to retire as a Cav, he would have stayed in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I think that, he might do the ceremonial retire for like 1-day contract or whatever. But I just question about, and not that this matters, but I just wonder how LeBron would be viewed differently if he played for one more team. Because you know how like people kind of try to purge the Jordan Wizards era?
Yeah.
I think that would be even weirder for like LeBron to play on what would that be? His fifth team?
Yeah.
No, his fourth team.
Fourth team, yeah.
So I understand, like, I don't know. I imagine that he might go back to Cleveland, or maybe he stays with the Lakers. I don't really know. But I just feel like as much as LeBron is a showstopper, he's still the most popular player in basketball.
Yeah.
If you're the Lakers, and I know the Lakers get blinded by stars all the time, you'll let this version of the team grow by itself. Not that LeBron's a kind of like a ceiling. He's not. You can never describe LeBron James as that. But without LeBron James, this team now led by Luka Doncic is who knows where they go.
Yeah. It's crazy. I still run into people who say that LeBron is the best player in the league. And I think that's mainly due to how popular he is and how much of a household name that he is and forever will be. But the Lakers, man, I agree. You have to figure out how to let this team grow without LeBron until he's 100% ready to come back. I mean, they're second in the West. And I think it's kind of funny because the Mavs are last in the West at 2-6. So Nico Harrison. What are we doing, pal?
Nico Harrison.
What?
Caveat is that Kyrie Irving is still hurt, but Klay Thompson literally forgot how to shoot the basketball.
Is he like? I haven't been watching much of the Mavs this year. Is he like actually washed? Like, is it
just
over?
You can literally just look at the stat line.
29% from three. Yeah, put the fries in the bag.
I hate seeing my heroes fall.
Yeah,
it's like in the Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon Jinn got killed. It's literally the equivalent, except it happens every Mavericks game.
Yeah.
The Lakers have something to figure out. I wouldn't at all be surprised if next year's the last year, because maybe LeBron loves even numbers just as much as me.
Tour. He's getting a full tour.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't looked at the schedule to prove that if they've played a final, like their one Eastern Conference road game against a given opponent.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have, that just all the more reason cements that I think that LeBron's not retiring this year, even though the layup was right there. 40,000 points, year 23. The Lakers have a clear, like, proper transition. They won't fade into nothing, into the valley again, like with it.
Yeah.
They did with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Like the setup was so perfect, and Bron's like,
yeah,
he's Tom Bradying it, man. He's giving up. He's not going to give up his family for the game, but it was an easy layup and he missed it. But it's whatever.
Yeah. So I'm looking at I was just going to say, because you brought it up, I got curious too. I'm looking at the schedule right now. The only Eastern Conference team that the Lakers have played is the Heat, and they played them at home. And their first Eastern Conference road game is their next game because they're going on a 3-game road trip. They're playing Atlanta on Saturday. So that's the first Eastern Conference team they play on the road this year.
Might we hear something before Saturday? I doubt it, but
yeah.
If we don't hear it before Saturday, I don't think we're going to hear it, period. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because especially Atlanta too, a huge media market like that, LeBron's not going to miss out on that. Come on.
Yeah.
Whatever. Speaking of huge markets, I want to shift to the other LA team because they are in the news for different reasons. We made fun of them on the first. We've been hate watching them probably the most, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Clippers, obviously. The Angels are LA's real baseball team. The Clippers are not LA's real basketball team, unfortunately.
No. We can't even do that bit with
They have the wall, the Great Wall of Intuit.
Yeah.
But trademark that, by the way. I'm gonna use that. But they're still in the headlines for the Kawhi Leonard contract scandal. It's literally a money laundering front.
Yeah.
I'm not actually allegedly. It looks like I'm not going to say anything that's going to get me in trouble. It looks like allegedly, possibly could be some sort of a thing that starts with an M and ends in money laundering front. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, there's another layer to it. News came out, I believe, yesterday that Steve Ballmer, Clippers owner, is being sued by 11 aspiration investors over the whole Kawhi Leonard thing. So it doesn't change the overall story. It's still an investigation. Like you said, allegedly they have done these things. So it's just another layer added on top of it. And it doesn't help the fact that the Clippers have gotten off to such a slow start to the season. They're 3-4 right now. They're actually playing against the Suns right now. It's the only NBA game on today, and they're up 3 at halftime. So hopefully for Steve Ballmer's sake and Clippers fans' sake, they pull through and win that game. Jalen Green's season debut, by the way, his first game of the year for the Suns.
Right now he has just as many new tattoos as he does games played this year.
Exactly. So the Clippers, I think the only way they can sort of sweep this investigation under the rug is to win basketball games, and they haven't been doing that to start the year. So they played the Thunder the other day, and James Harden had like 25 or 27 points in the first half and then finished the game with, let me look it up really quickly. The point is he only scored like a few points in the second half.
What did Melo say?
He finished with 20. So I think he had 20 something in the first half and finished with 25. So like the point is he wasn't doing anything in the second half.
What did Melo say? This is nothing new.
This is nothing new.
This is nothing new.
So
yeah, I think the best way to blind your to direct attention away from a scandal or any issues like this is you put the good product out on the field of the court.
Yeah,
and it's just a product. It's not a bad product. The first game was a bad product, but since then it's just been a product.
Yeah, and there's also been talks about like potentially moving the All-Star game away from LA because of this whole thing, which I personally hope doesn't happen. I'm probably not going to go to the All-Star game this year, but there are a lot of fan activities that are associated with All-Star weekend, and being local in LA, it's definitely something that I want to check out this year. So I'm hoping that the All-Star game still stays in LA and this is able to get figured out really soon, because I want to get back to talking about the Clippers on the basketball court and how fraudulent they are and how annoying they are. I don't want to talk about Steve Ballmer. I don't care about Steve Ballmer, respectfully.
Well, we got to wait to see what the issues are here, or not the issues, like the potential repercussions of this. Because what do you mean you're funneling money for your star player, dude? Like, yeah. I also want to point out that this Clippers team is built to win right now, like right now.
Yeah,
and so you would argue they're built to win yesterday if they don't win right now, but this is quite literally one of the worst possible situations that you could put yourself in.
Right.
Because all the attention should be on you and your quest to win a title right now. They won't. And now you got to focus on, oh my gosh.
A Clippers fan can dream.
They can dilly-dallying. It's with some third-party money. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to downgrade that, by the way. If it's a big issue, then, they are cooked.
Yeah.
You should see what they did to Chauncey Billups. Like, you see what they did to Damon Jones. He hasn't even played basketball professionally in years.
Yeah.
Sent that man to the gulag. Well, they're going to. I think he just pled not guilty today or yesterday.
He did that shit. Allegedly.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
sources have been saying. But I think, teams that are extremely scandal-free and classy, real gold standards of the NBA are our two teams that we support. So might as well talk about them. I think that I'll go first because this is hilarious, honestly. Like,
let's
the
talk about
Warriors
the
played
Warriors,
last
man.
night against the Kings, and they had a double-digit lead in the first half, and they end up losing this game because Russell Westbrook, someone told him it was 2018 again because the man, 2020 because it was a triple-double with
We'll give like Wizards. He had a Wizards Westbrook type.
He had a
Wizards.
Westbrook.
He wasn't completely washed at that point. So
no, he wasn't. But it just felt like a lot of borderline empty calories. My point is, the Warriors have lost again. Now I understand that it was Uncle Horford and friends.
Yeah,
because you had guys making their first career starts. Kuminga played well with 24. Like, it was a good game, but at the same time,
some dude I've never heard of scored 30. That's cool.
His first career game, first career start, which, is awesome. That is super cool. He's officially started more NBA games than me, which, to each their own, I guess. But the Warriors are finally showing what we have known since before the season even started. Even with the Kuminga contract extension, like, they're doing exactly what I thought, and we talked about this, you thought was going to happen too. They just don't have enough pieces.
Yeah.
And I understand they were short of arguably their three best players, depending on how you count Draymond. But without Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, it's like you're not going to win that many games anyway. And there was promise, but like, you can't lose to the Kings, man. They didn't have Sabonis or Keegan Murray, by the way. And DeMar DeRozan left the game because he got hit in the face.
Okay.
So, like, the Kings team was just as hobbled as you were, and you lose to them, you blew a double-digit lead.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just trailing the whole time, I understand it's not your night. You're not shooting well sometimes. They shot over 50% in the first quarter. Like 56, 57%. The Kings did too. But, like, when the Warriors shoot that high to start a game, you're thinking, wow, we're cruising to a win here. Especially against the Kings. Have you seen our history when we play the Kings and we're shooting lights out? Highlight tapes.
Kings fans know. Just look at 2023 Game 7. That's all you needed to know.
Look at Klay Thompson's 37 points in a quarter. The only fight the closest they ever got to matching it was 2 words, Omri Caspi. Like, real, you know. And so I'm thinking, like, double-digit lead after one. Like, you kid, like, this is a cakewalk. And then we lose. Yeah. I turned the TV off for a little bit too, came back, and I was like, what do you mean it's a 3-point game in the fourth quarter? So let me dial back. It may sound like I'm sounding the alarm. I'm not, but it's kind of
you kind of are though. You kind of are though. You have your hand on the fire alarm ready to pull it.
I'm knocking on the glass. I'm ready to break it if I need to pull that alarm. But I don't even think I should pull the alarm because I came into this season not thinking that this was a championship contending team anyway.
Right.
If I had come in and I was like, dude, this is their best chance they got left, which it still might be true. But if this is their best chance, Steph Curry is not sniffing another NBA Finals appearance.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's even worth sounding the alarm because this team is kind of playing out exactly how I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just, it's not like a sound the alarm. It's more like there they are. That's the team I thought I was going to see. And again, caveat, 3 great players are out. They were playing well otherwise, but like, come on, I'm not forgetting that Portland loss a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And not only that Portland loss, before that Kings game yesterday, they beat the Suns. That's like whatever. The Suns aren't that good. They're 3-5 right now playing the Clippers. The Warriors had a little 2-game mini road trip to the Midwest. They
lost to the Pacers,
team, the Bucks. But before that, though, they played the Bucks
without
Giannis. So they literally lost that game. That was like Ryan Rollins' coming out party. Like, had a career high, 30 points. They literally lost to the power of friendship because you can say that before going into this year, the Bucks team was Giannis and friends. So without Giannis, it's the power of friendship. Like, that's all they have. And then they
beat him by 10.
And they lose to the Pacers with, obviously, Halliburton's out for the season with the Achilles. Benedict Mathurin was out. I'm pretty sure Andrew Nembhard was out. Was Siakam playing? Did Siakam play? I don't even remember. They lost.
Siakam did play, and he had 27 points.
They
on
lost
23 shots, bro.
And they were up. So you talk about them being up against the Kings. They were up by 11 in the fourth quarter against the Pacers, against literally the corpse of the Indiana Pacers. Like that finals team last year that you knew and loved, or knew for some people, maybe not loved. The team that went to the conference, finals the year before, that team is gone. Like at least for this year.
Aaron Nesmith had 31.
Yeah, like you literally lost to the corpse.
Quentin Jackson. Quentin with an O, by the way, 25.
Yeah. So you lost to the power of friendship in Milwaukee, and you lost to the corpse of last year's Eastern Conference champion in Indiana. It's not looking good for the Warriors right now. Like the Pacers are literally, I think they're in a tanking year. Like I think they're tanking without trying to make it look super obvious. I think they're trying to tank without making it look super obvious. Like they know this season is a wash because Halliburton's not playing and they're just decimated by injuries right now. And I don't really know how much they're going to be able to accomplish this season, but they can say that they will at least split the season series with the Golden State Warriors, which is crazy because I don't know how the Warriors lost that game.
Yeah, I watched it too. I watched it right before because you know what a day that was. It was the Warriors game, then it was the USC football game, and then game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah,
it kind of flew under the radar because of other major headlines in the sports world that day. But yeah, I saw it too, and you know what? San Jose State football won that day. That was the trade that they did. They made that trade. Somebody in the Bay Area made that trade. It was like, this would be cool if we could do that. No, we can't do that because San Jose State football's in the gutter. We can't throw two teams in the gutter. Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just this team is so clearly lost, even like without Stephen Curry, clearly. But you know, even when he's there, it's just they have. We'll see if this continues, but we seem to have a good enough, a solid enough sample size to point it out, to raise an eyebrow. They play down to the level of opponents.
Yeah.
Which you can't do if you want to compete for a championship, which is never something I thought I would say about a Steve Kerr-led team because they are infamous for keeping their foot on the gas. Like Prime Warriors kept their foot on the gas, blew them out by 30, and then rested everybody, and you still won by 20. So it's kind of unorthodox. I think it's, especially with Jimmy Butler there too, you would think this would be a team that, you know, keeps that mentality. And I'm not saying they don't, but you look at dropping 3 of the last 4 against hobbled competition. It's not a good look, man.
Yeah. And the schedule doesn't really lighten up that much either because
they play Denver tomorrow.
Playing Denver tomorrow.
In a cup game, by the way.
They got Indiana again on Sunday. So they'll have a chance to at least avenge that game pretty quickly here, and then they go on the road to play OKC and the Spurs
twice in 3 nights,
and then you get the Pelicans. I mean, Magic, Heat, Blazers. I don't know, man. It's looking spooky for the Warriors
up until
now.
Thanksgiving. It's a pretty devious schedule.
Yeah,
because the only ones you look at that are like those could be easier are Portland and Utah, but Portland already whooped you, and Utah Walker Kessler's out for the season though. We have to talk about that. Walker Kessler is out for the season. You know,
he was a guy who was like a pretty big trade piece. He was in a lot of trade rumors, I feel like, of contenders, the Lakers.
No way Walker Kessler was getting traded before Lauri Markkanen, man. I'd be sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And not go to the Warriors, bro. Dude, the Jazz got a little fun team going around, but you know, with Walker Kessler,
Markkanen's still averaging 30, by the way. Still averaging 30.
Could have been 25 on the Warriors right now. Walker Kessler got hurt, and somebody in the comment section on the post on Instagram was like, "There goes our championship."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what, Jazz fans, as someone who has supported teams when you're just kind of nobody expects you to do anything, so you kind of just have fun out there, kind of like what the Saints are doing right now in the NFL. You kind of just them boys just go out and have fun.
Yeah,
and the fan base enjoys it because every time you win, you're like, damn, I don't know when we're getting another one.
Yeah.
Or
you're mad that you won because you don't want them winning games.
Who's out tanking the Jazz?
Who?
The Wizards, maybe? They're 1-7.
The Nets?
Dude, I don't even know what the Nets are doing at this point. Like, you got a you traded for a conspiracy theorist this summer. Like I don't know what the Nets are doing. The Nets use all of their picks.
Pacers and Wizards are all 1-7. The Wizards have lost 6 in a row.
The Pacers, their hands are tied. They're playing out there with a hand tied behind their back. So
Yeah.
that one, everybody knew that it's like, okay, they just won't, the product won't be there.
Yeah.
But when Halliburton comes back, hopefully in the same hopefully matching the same caliber, or at least a version of it from before the injury, they'll be just fine. But dude, these other teams, man, they're literally just going to work.
Yeah.
They're clocking in because they have to.
Yeah.
It's like Jokic, but like without the wins.
Right.
And maybe a lot more unseriousness. You know who I was thinking about recently was the Charlotte Hornets, who are not at the bottom, but they're not at the top. They're kind of just there. They're 3-5, by the way, for context. So
yeah,
they're not.
They also just kind of clock in because they have to, but they're not as bad as those other teams.
Yeah, no, they're not as bad as those other teams, but like, I don't know. I just feel like they're. I wonder if the Hornets would make a move. Because I feel like I thought about the interview after LaMelo Ball when they talked to him after the game about his crazy stat line. They're like, what was the favorite stat line? He's like, the win.
He was
oh my God,
he was lying he was lying so much. I'm sorry. That does not sound like LaMelo Ball. Yeah. I don't even remember.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the Hornets, there they are. They're at 12 right now. The Magic are right there with them. That's the one that are like, that's the one that's going on. That's, you kind of raise an eyebrow, like, what's going on right there. The Celtics have a better record than them, by the way.
Yeah.
The Raptors. Here come the Sixers.
Eastern Conference is so interesting. The Raptors are in the top 8. They've won 3 in a row. Sixers are kind of teetering a little bit. The Pistons have won 4 in a row. We talked about the Bulls already. Yeah. The Bucks are sitting there at 5. Can we talk about the Bucks for a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about the Bucks. Let's switch over to the Bucks.
All right. So earlier this week,
speaking of the Raptors,
speaking of the Bucks and the Raptors, so the Bucks played Toronto yesterday, which I just chalked up as a schedule loss. I knew they were going to lose that game because it was the back end of a back-to-back. They were in Indiana the night before, going shot for shot. Like Giannis was going shot for shot with Siakam and friends. It was Giannis and friends versus Siakam and friends.
It was literally one-on-one and then 4 spectators on each side.
Agreed. And then Giannis decided to hit probably if you had to make a list of least pretty looking turnaround fadeaway jumpers to win a game, that would probably be up there towards the top.
If a Dirk Nowitzki game winners is on one end of the spectrum, the Giannis is on the other end of the spectrum.
But as a Giannis fan, a fadeaway jumper over 2 people at the buzzer to win the game, I'm taking that to the bank with me every single time. I don't care who's on the court. That was a very, very fun game to watch and a pretty good shot. And an emotional game too, because it was Miles Turner's first game back in Indiana after leaving the Pacers. And I guess we can, instead of just talking about the Bucks, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this. So Miles Turner did not get a nice welcome home from Pacers fans on Monday. They gave him a tribute video, but they were booing him the entire time. They booed him when he got introduced in the player intros. And I think what Pacers fans are mad about is they think he had some, I guess, firing shot type comments when he left the Pacers, because he left because they couldn't agree to terms on a contract extension. He was a free agent. He thought they were lowballing him, so he went and signed with the Bucks. The Pacers-Bucks rivalry is kind of one of the better rivalries in the league right now. Those two teams do not like each other, and those fan bases don't like each other either.
They shouldn't. Bring back NBA rivalries.
So
they're literally a stone's throw away from each other.
So Miles Turner going to the Bucks was kind of just like a big middle finger to the Pacers not wanting to extend him. And Pacers fans didn't take that lightly. He said some stuff about the organization not supporting him and stuff like that. He was booed during the game. Giannis kind of got into the fun a little bit too, because he had a nice poster dunk that game and started booing the crowd. He booed the crowd after he hit that game winner. He also grabbed his crotch too. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten fined for that yet, even though Embiid got fined for doing the DMX chop like literally the day before that, which is hilarious. So like I kind of wanted to ask you what your thoughts are on, I guess players are always going to do what's best for themselves, what's best for their families, which I 100% agree with, because they have to look out for themselves because the teams don't look out for them. I don't think loyalty is a two-way street in the NBA and in sports in general.
In sports, yeah.
What do you think about Miles Turner getting booed going back to Indiana, knowing that he was the longest tenured Pacer on that team? Like, there during the Paul George era. He was there when they were buns before Halliburton got there during their rebuild, and he got to see that matriculate into a finals trip. He was there for all of that. 10 years of just really solid play, and then he goes back, gets booed. I think it's kind of messed up, but I understand the perspective of Pacers fans too. I wanted to ask you about
it makes sense. First of all, I want to put a timeout. Petition to call the Bucks Pacers rivalry the mid-off because they're both of the Midwest and they always just face each other in the first round.
Yeah. And they play each other 4 times a year too because they're in the same division.
I think I think that should be called the mid-off.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
That's just a thought. That's just food for thought. But it makes sense. I don't necessarily agree with it. If I was a Pacers fan though, I don't know. I probably wouldn't boo. I think of it like this. You're going to back your own team. So when a player, even if it's, especially when it's a player who's been there for a long time, kind of just upping leaves, not trade, just leaves in free agency, you're going to feel a certain way, especially the circumstances that he left in. I think a lot of Pacers fans are thinking, we were this close.
Yeah.
You stuck with us through the worst. And now this is the highest, this is literally the peak of our franchise's history. We've never played a game 7 in the finals. And then you leave? Now, I understand you're automatically going to default to kind of pointing the finger at the player who left. But this is why context matters. Because Miles Turner being lowballed by the franchise shows that there's issues internally.
Yeah.
Because if Miles Turner has been on trade block conversations since the pandemic.
Yeah.
So if that man wanted to leave, he would have left already. He would have demanded a trade. So factor that in. If he wanted to, he already would have. The Pacers clearly did not want him to leave either. They would have traded him.
Yeah.
So where's the issue? The issue is that they have an inflated sense of entitlement after the run to the playoffs. It almost felt like they took him for granted because they're like, he's always been here, kind of always had the same quality production. And we just kind of expect him to be here. He should be able to, make a team-friendly deal, take a team-friendly deal because he knows we're on the precipice of winning a title. It's not going to happen this year, but it's happening. It's going to happen soon if he sticks around. And, to Miles Turner's credit, he's like, it's very similar of. It's not comparable in terms of the player. Similar situation reminds me a lot of when James Harden got traded out of Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted him to take another team-friendly deal, and it gets to a point, and I know money's not everything, but, the money is the motive.
Yeah.
But James Harden was like, I've already done this for X amount of years, and that was only about 4 years.
Right.
I can't do this again. 3-4 years. I don't want to do this again. I deserve this money. Miles Turner's been there for 10 years. So he's like, I deserve this money. And, when you get to that age as an NBA player, when you've been around for that long, it's always like this, but especially the longer you play, you don't know when your last season's going to be. Yeah. You don't recover as well as you used to, which is crazy saying for somebody in their early 30s, but it's different now. So I don't fault him at all for wanting to get the money. And, it's a shame that he had to leave the place that he clearly did not want to leave.
Yeah.
Him going to Milwaukee is hilarious, though. I thought it was extremely petty. And I think that does warrant booing because if he had gone anywhere else, if he went to Charlotte, for example, anywhere else, like I think he would have gotten a warm welcome because then I think Pacers fans would have been kind of looked a little more internal and been like, damn, he kind of went there for all that money. We could have paid him. Yeah. But he went to Milwaukee. He went down the street. Yeah. So, that you probably feel a certain way about him leaving to go to your rival. Internal issues, front office shortcomings aside, I'd probably be pissed too. I don't know if I'd boo him though because, dude, it's Miles Turner. Like that's There are kids that grew up in Indiana with their first jersey was Miles Turner.
Yeah.
Like, let that sink in.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. I don't know. Just given all he's done for the franchise, being the longest tenured guy there, one of the longest tenured guys with one team in the league, really, because you look at Steph and Draymond with the Warriors, who have been there for what, 13? Steph obviously longer. Is this Steph's 18th, 17th season? Something like that. Draymond's in year 13 or 14 or something like that. And then you have Giannis in his 13th season with the Bucks. And then it was Miles Turner who played double-digit seasons for the Pacers. And you have, I'm pretty sure their ownership group said that they were willing to go over the luxury tax to keep him, and they didn't end up doing that. And then he looks at the situation in Indiana. Our best player is going to be out all of next year with a torn Achilles. I just went to the finals, and I was this close to getting my first championship. I want to be in a situation where I can get compensated and I can win. And Milwaukee, I think, checks both of those boxes because they paid him what he wanted. And regardless of how good the team is, when you have a guy of Giannis's caliber, you always have a chance to win. You just never know what's going to happen when you're on a team with a player that good. So I respected the decision. I loved the pettiness because, like I said, this rivalry has been brewing for a while. 2 seasons ago, these teams played each other a grand total of, I think, 11 times. Like, they played 11 games against each other in 2023-24 because they played the 4 regular season games, NBA Cup.
Oh, my God,
I forgot about that. And then 6 games in the playoffs. And then they played each other in the first round last year too, obviously. So I agree with you from the perspective of him going to the Bucks. I definitely can see why they were upset, and whatever comments he said about the franchise or whatever, I can see how that could rub people the wrong way. But Miles Turner, like, good on him because he did what he needed to do to protect himself and get what he deserved financially. So I was fully in support of him going to another team.
It's just a bonus that it was your team.
Yeah.
But let's carry on with your team because they did beat the Pacers on a really cool game-winning shot.
Yeah.
No matter how ugly it was.
Yeah.
And then it's a back-to-back. They got to go north of the border. And then they drop a game to God's favorite basketball team, the Toronto Raptors. Down by 10 after one quarter. 19 at half. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I know you were like it's a second night on a back-to-back. My team is an aging superstar. My team is made up of aging stars. So I know second half, that's what happened to us in Portland. So I'm not going to knock you. But, like, is there anything in this performance where you're like, ooh?
I think the same issue, the one issue that I have with the Bucks, I'll say this. I couldn't have asked for, as a Giannis fan, a better start to the season. Like, if you told me through their first 8 games that they were going to be 5-3 and Giannis would still be averaging his 30 on 60% shooting, I would be like, cool, I'll take that. And they would have been competitive in every game. They almost beat the Cavs. They beat the Knicks. They did lose. So they lost to the Raptors, and then the other loss was to the Kings, which was also a really funny game. But the issue I have with the Bucks is Doc's rotations are just so confusing to me because they're keeping Giannis at basically a minutes restriction. He's not really playing more than 32, 33 minutes a game.
I was going to say 24 minutes against the Raptors. 22 points, but only 24 minutes.
He's not, and you have to take into account he was playing in Eurobasket over the summer, so I think they're really trying to manage his minutes and make sure that he's healthy for the playoffs, which I understand, but I think you can play Giannis at that 35, 36 minute a game mark and see what you can really get out of him because he's putting up these numbers. I think right now it's like 32, however many rebounds on like almost 70% shooting. He's doing that in 32 minutes.
32, 12, and 6.
So if you play him an extra 2 to 3 minutes a game, those numbers I'm sure would go up. And you have to play the starters more. Like, I watch every single Bucks game that Giannis plays in. Doc's rotations are just not it.
I was gonna say
he plays
Giannis
the bench.
24 minutes. Kyle Kuzma and Cole Anthony had more minutes off the bench.
Yeah, he plays the bench guys too long so that now, and the bench unit itself already isn't that good. So any momentum that the starters build in the first quarter, he's depending on Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, and Cole Anthony to basically keep them afloat for almost basically the 10 game minutes that Giannis is going to sit. because what Doc likes to do, he plays Giannis until like the 3 or 4 minute mark of the first quarter. He takes him out, and then he likes to take him back, bring him back in for like the last half of the second quarter, which I think is just too long to sit because you're asking too much.
Yeah.
You're asking too much of these guys to keep you in a game, and that's where teams are really able to make their mark. And now when Giannis and Miles Turner and the starters check back in, they have to come back from a deficit. It's just making things harder than they should be. It's extra work. So I think if the Bucks clean up their rotations a little bit, play the starters a little more minutes, I think they'll see their offense flow a little bit better. And I think they'll have more continuity because the starters will have more continuity and Giannis just has more opportunities to dominate. And I think he's being limited right now because of the minutes he's playing.
I actually do think that the minutes they're playing him right now makes sense. I think it's more of I think he can probably get back to 34, 35 minutes a night. But not right now. I think they got to try to eat. I think they're aware. You got to think of it like this. Why have the Bucks not done anything in the playoffs since they won a title?
I like to say because of injuries. That's the primary reason.
It's because Giannis gets hurt.
Yeah.
Because Giannis has been injured or somebody else has been injured. They don't want that. Like, I know that as cliche as that sounds, like they don't want that. And so they want to try to avoid Giannis getting hurt, in January. Because then we all know this, a player can get hurt in the middle of the season and yes, they can come back and play, but there's always that lingering thought in the back of your mind. They could get hurt again because they're playing high level basketball right after an injury.
Yeah.
You don't want that obviously. And so, take the Raptors loss with a grain of salt because you're down double digits at halftime already.
And you know how the Raptors you know how the Raptors, particularly Darko's Raptors, you know how they like to play defense. They swarm the ball. They pick up they're so annoying to watch. They pick up full court.
They're like a college team.
They don't give you any breathing room for anything. And especially for a guy like Giannis who likes to initiate offense, him getting picked up full court takes a lot of energy off him. And I'm at least glad that Doc pulled the plug in the fourth quarter, realized they were getting blown out, second night of a back-to-back, just forget about it. I was honestly kind of surprised he played in that game to begin with because I thought that looked like a for sure, Giannis left knee soreness out type of injury report that I was expecting.
And I think that him playing though is a testament to their easing him more back in because he didn't play against the Warriors last week,
right?
And
that was off rest. That wasn't off a back-to-back. So,
but it was rest though. So
yeah.
So, but they're being very ginger with how often they play him. But I think him playing on the second night of a road back-to-back is a testament to, they're starting to ease him back in. I think he plays 35 minutes by the new year.
Yeah.
Plays 35, 30. He could probably push even 40 if they need him to. But I understand. I actually understand where Doc Rivers is coming from in this situation.
That's true.
I do want to point out, though, that Taurean Prince did have a cardio game. So it's you're not.
Don't remind me.
In 21 minutes. So 1 assist, 1 turnover. Not even a rebound.
Yeah.
He didn't even grab it and collect it and bring it down. He didn't even grab a rebound. So
yeah,
you're not going to win that many games when you got a guy playing 21 minutes doing absolutely nothing. But I don't know. I understand. I understand
I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little
yearning to see your favorite player play because you're I don't watch these games for nothing, bro.
Yeah. And I know we're already a little over an hour over time. One last thing I wanted to say about Miles Turner. You can look at the stats and see that his offensive production isn't really there yet, but he is a home run fit with Giannis. He fits really well with him on the court because their defense, if you look at the numbers, is marginally a lot better than it was last year. He's mobile. He can block shots. I'm looking at the shots he's blocking and I'm there's no way Brook Lopez would have been able to do that at this stage and age. And so I think as things get settled in, I think his offensive production will start to ramp up a little bit more. And he can be a 13 to 15 point per game center like he was with the Pacers. I think he can still be that guy with the Bucks too.
He's playing he's playing good ball. Again, he's only shooting 40% from the field, which is not that great. But he's right at Ja Morant numbers. But you're right. He blocked 5 shots versus the Pacers.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's why they were in the position to win that game. So I get what you're saying. Not everybody's getting.
I think
it's a highlight league.
Only Wemby's
not everybody's
going to
do offensive highlights. So. I get what you're saying. I am pro defense, but it seems like that's a harder and harder argument to stand on.
Yeah.
With the current iteration of the NBA. and my team doesn't even play defense. So, especially without Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Because how are we giving up that many points to the Kings, bro? Anyway, that's it. Any final thoughts?
I'm just glad we were able to figure out how to get a consistent schedule going with this. We're doing an episode every week, which I love. So
I've been told that Eck will come back eventually. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll get him on. He'll come back during the holiday season because that's like, oh god, he loves.
He'll have a full head of hair by then.
He loves Christmas hoops.
Yeah.
So I've been told.
I want to get his thoughts on the Lakers. That'd be fire.
Oh yeah, no, I'll put him on the phone. Just like
actually, I don't want his thoughts on the Lakers. I want to know how he feels about the Lakers being so good without LeBron. That's what I want to ask him about. I want to get his thoughts on that.
That's a fair point. All right, that's all for this episode of the Professional Hate Watching Association. 10 episodes in. Cheers to the next 10 more. Hopefully, more than 10 after that. But for Daniel, I'm Ethan. We will see you next time.
Peace.